So this study was published in 2019, and it looked at the effects of evening exercise on sleep. And it was a large, what we call systematic meta-analysis. So it looked at a very large body of research, and they came to the conclusion that an evening exercise doesn't necessarily impede sleep if it's timed properly. It may actually enhance sleep, which is totally against the myth. You don't want to exercise immediately before going to sleep. So if your plan is to go to sleep at 10, you don't want to start exercising at 9. You want to finish by 9 o'clock if you're going to sleep at 10, preferably even exercise a little earlier.
Why does the timing matter on this?
So here's the deal. When we exercise, we get revved up, and then that can make it very hard for us to calm down to go to sleep. Our heart rate goes up, our breathing goes up, our alertness increases. So an hour before we go to sleep, in terms of sleep, ideal sleep hygiene is when we want to turn all of our machinery off, all our screens off.
So the timing matters, what you're doing
Yes.
matters too. You say it should
Yes.
not be strenuous. What do you mean by strenuous?
So if you can't even talk when you're exercising because you're going so hard, that's strenuous exercise. If you can't keep it up for too long, no more than a couple minutes, that means you're really at max, right? So if you can carry on a conversation, that's about as strenuous as you want it to be with evening exercise. Now, some people, they can go flat out, work out as hard as they can, and doesn't affect their sleep. But for those of us just starting out with maybe experimenting with evening exercise, you want to take a more moderate approach. If you're really worried it might interfere with your sleep, you can do things like yoga, stretching, meditation, just something very relaxing and gentle, because all that activity counts.
I want to get back to the yoga thing, but you brought up something that was interesting to me. So the length of time that you spend exercising in general, like if you've been doing this for 3 years versus if you just started last night, does that make a difference in all of this?
It always makes a difference because your body is not, if you're just starting out, you don't know how your body's going to react to the exercise. So we all need to covet our sleep. The average adult needs 8 hours of sleep. Some can get away with 7. For me, I need 8 hours of sleep to feel really good. How many do you need?
At least 6.
Oh, 6 generally is not enough for most people to do on a sustained basis. So you want to really keep that goal in mind because adults are very sleep deprived.
Yes, yeah, I would say I'm in that category, but for
Darn.
people who, and I know you travel a lot and you try to fit your workouts in wherever you can. For people like that who don't get to it in the morning and they just feel like they have to do something at night. You mentioned yoga or stretching or meditation. Are those really the best things that you should be doing?
Well, it's an overall program. So we want about 150 minutes a week of cardio exercise on a treadmill or a bicycle or that kind of exercise. That's about 30 minutes a day. And we also want to weight lift at least twice a week. This is according to the national recommendations on fitness. And then stretching several times a week as well. And I started stretching after I lift weights, and it's changed how I feel. My body feels totally different. And especially when we're over 50, we start getting really stiff. Any of us that sit around a lot for our work on computers, right? Your hips can feel stiff even if you're young, like you. So stretching really facilitates circulation and mobility and just cuts down on aches and pains. And it really contributes to health.
And if nighttime is the only time you can get that workout and you should still try to lift those weights and still try to do that
Yes.
cardio, but maybe give yourself
Yes.
enough time.
Right. You don't need 2 hours at night. You don't need 1 hour at night. You can do all this very quickly if you stay targeted, and that's good for your heart rate. When I go to the gym, I usually don't have enough time to dawdle around there for hours, right? So I do opposing muscle groups. So one day I might do biceps and back. Next day I might do triceps and chest. And I just go back and forth, back and forth. So I keep my heart rate elevated. I don't dawdle in the gym, because I want to get as much cardio effect at the same time that I'm working out the muscles. Our excuses can get in the way. So you may say to yourself, I'm not an evening person. I've never tried exercising at night. I don't think I'll like exercising at night. I would suggest you just place an and or a but after that phrase and do it anyway, because it's way better to get a little exercise in than skip a day. Now, sometimes we're just so darn tired we can't move. We just can't do a thing. But that shouldn't lead to weeks of not exercising. So if you skip a day, great. Get right back in the saddle the next day.